Hi guys, and welcome back to Landman Builds. So here we are, 250 subs. That's a quarter of the way to 1,000, which in my opinion is just mad. So I didn't expect this to happen this quickly, but YouTube decided to push my first Building Kingsworthy episode really hard, which I love. Like, please keep on doing that, YouTube. Some of you may have noticed that this video is not coming out on a Sunday like my videos usually do. This isn't because I'm changing upload days, but just because I have a lot of stuff to focus on, so I'm not able to make as much content as I was over lockdown, but I am still going to upload as much as I can. Before we get into the questions, I have a quick disclaimer. I always heavily script my videos, literally to the word. This intro right now is actually scripted. Really, I do this just because it allows me to perfect my content as much as I can. But unlike the rest of the videos on my channel, the answers to these questions are not scripted at all. And I've only glanced at the questions when I was selecting the ones to answer, so I may dither around a bit when answering them, but I hope that will be fine. So the first question I've got here is from Jake, or Ali Turtle, which says, what does your planning look like for Kingsworthy? Are you thinking about good mixes of residential to commercial and street hierarchy? So in terms of the planning of Kingsworthy, it's actually based off of the layout of Winchester, as Winchester used to be a Roman town or a Roman fortification, and then the old Roman layout was destroyed in, I'm not sure when, probably about the 13th century, 14th, like a long time ago. And then they put in this sort of loose grid pattern, which is really the sort of effect that I'm trying to mimic with Kingsworthy. So in terms of residential to commercial, the commercial district's going to be north of the cathedral, and that's just going to have all the shops and things like that, like a commercial district does. But the shops are going to sort of thin out a bit as it gets into the commercial areas, and then the further out you'll get to these sort of really nice Victorian terraces, which there are quite a few of in Winchester, which I just like to try and build somehow. For street hierarchy, there won't be any pedestrianised roads, like none at all. There'll just be a few alleyways where you just can't get a car down. This next question is from Just Okay, and he says, from where do you get inspiration? So I get my inspiration mainly from Winchester. I spend a lot of time there every week, so I have a good chance to look around, sort of look at a building and go, actually, I kind of want to build that in Minecraft. So most of it's from there, but I've also chucked in a bit of Salisbury because I don't get to go to Salisbury very much, but whenever I do, the buildings are just so nice, and there are some which I just really want to fit in. So our next question comes from Ray Schneiders, I'm not sure how to pronounce that name, but he said, why did you choose Winchester for your inspiration? And I mean, I've basically just answered that. But he also says, do you have any pets? And no, I don't. I used to have fish, but then we moved house, so I don't have any pets. But when I get older and get a place of my own, I want to have a dog. I'd love to have a dog. This question is also from Ray Schneids, which says, how did you choose the name Landwan? There's actually a good story behind this. So a few years ago, I was in a computer science lesson, and we were learning about lands and WANs, and if you ever done computer science, you'll know they exist. I think it's like Wi-Fi, I think that's what it's to do with. But we had sort of an online test for it, and you had to type in your first name and your surname. And I thought these were some of the answer boxes, so I typed in land for the first one and WAN for the second one. And I had no idea I'd done it, and it was only when I was the only person in the class who hadn't done the test that I realised I'd done it wrong, because the person whose name was Landwan and my test score lined up somehow. That's basically how it started. The next question comes from Benjamin Partridge, and it is, do you have any interest in a survival series with this style of building? So at the moment, I don't really have too much of an interest in survival, but if it's something which you guys want to see, then I can definitely do it. This next one is from Yonkaflunk with, how many styles of building do you do? What's your favourite real life town and for what reason? And what's your favourite architectural style? So for how many styles of building do I do? I don't really have a number. I build sort of mainly Georgian. I used to build a lot of sort of fantasy medieval, but now I've sort of gone into a bit more of realistic medieval, and I really like how that's turning out. Just like with the timber frame building I did on the last episode. I've got to say, out of all the buildings I've done, that is definitely one of my favourites. So I hope to build a bit more in that. But in answer to the question, I really have no idea. In terms of what's my favourite real life town, if it was my favourite real life city, that would be fairly easy. I'd say it would probably be Salisbury. I think just walking around the cathedral close in Salisbury, it's just such a nice place. Like it really just is, and it's just so beautiful. Like, definitely somewhere that I could live. So for what's my favourite architectural style, I think it's got to be Georgian, and on a bit of a subsection of Georgian, I think it would be Regency. I haven't actually built any Regency buildings yet, but I do want to build a Regency seaside town sometime soon. I'm not sure when. After I finish Kingsworthy, it's just somewhere down the line it will happen. Trust me. Our next one is from ZeroYT, and he says, does Kingsworthy hold city status? The short answer to this one is yes, it holds city status because it has a cathedral, so by default it's a city. But the long answer is, I keep on calling it a town. I'm not sure why it's a city. I'm clearing that up right now, it's a city. But I just keep on calling it a town. I'm really sorry about that, but I'll try and not make it happen in the future, but I can't promise anything. The next one is from Sir Lancelot, which is, what is your least favourite block? I think it's just got to be something like sponge or a block like that, which I just never use, or like pumpkins. I really haven't thought about this at all, but it's just got to be one that I never use for building. And the final one comes from Southcraft, and it says, will you ever stream building? Well, I've thought about this quite a bit, and I think I will. It just depends if the demand's there for it. If you guys want to see me build on stream live in the flesh, well, behind a screen, but if you want to see that, I can definitely make it happen. So here we are at the end. I'd like to say thank you for 250 subs once again, because that is a great milestone to hit, which means we're getting even closer to that 1k goal. I'd like to say thanks to everyone who has subbed so far, because I really enjoy making videos and it's great to see people enjoy watching them. Sometime soon there'll be another Building Kingsworthy episode out, which hopefully will be in about a week or so, but I can't promise anything. Until then though, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.